20 million years ago, our planet was a world teeming with life, a world almost unrecognizable to us today. The age of dinosaurs had long passed, but the age of humanity was still a distant dream. Vast, emerald forests blanketed the continents, savannas echoed with the thunder of hooves, and silent predators stalked the shadows. But high up in the canopy, a new power was stirring. They were immensely strong. They were surprisingly intelligent. And one day, their descendants would inherit the Earth and shape its future. This was the dawn of a new era. This was the age of the giant apes. Welcome to the Miocene epoch, a time of incredible expansion and profound change. The Earth's climate was growing warmer and wetter, draping much of Africa, Europe, and Asia in seemingly endless, lush forests. This vibrant world was a cradle for an astonishing diversity of life. Imagine vast herds of ancient antelope, the first elephants lumbering through the undergrowth, and saber-toothed predators moving like ghosts through the trees. And it was in this thriving, green world that the apes truly flourished. For the first time in history, they spread far and wide, adapting to every new environment they encountered, from dense jungles to open woodlands. Their story was just beginning. And among these thriving primates were giants, creatures unlike anything alive today. Meet Gigantopithecus, the largest ape to have ever walked the earth. Standing nearly 10 feet tall and weighing over 1,000 pounds, this was a true titan. In the dense bamboo forests of Asia, it crushed thick stalks with its enormous, powerful jaws. In open clearings, it would have towered over predators, an immovable force of sheer muscle and bone. But Gigantopithecus wasn't the only giant in town. Across the European forests, the agile and powerful Dryopithecus swung gracefully through the trees, a master of its arboreal realm. And back in Africa, Proconsul, one of the earliest true apes, thrived, laying the evolutionary foundation for all the great primates that were yet to come. But the Miocene was no paradise. It was a constant, brutal battlefield. In the tall grasses, a terrifying predator called Amphosion, the bear dog, prowled. With a bite capable of crushing solid bone, it was a threat to everything that lived. Silent and deadly, the ancestors of the famed Smilodon, the first saber-toothed cats, stalked the undergrowth, their amber eyes missing nothing. In the rivers, massive crocodiles lurked, ready to launch a sudden, violent ambush on any creature that strayed too close to the water's edge. For the apes, survival wasn't just a matter of strength. It depended on numbers, on social bonds, and on their growing intelligence. They formed tight-knit troops. They fiercely defended their young. And when predators dared to strike, they didn't just flee, they fought back. This unity was their greatest weapon. Unlike the solitary hunters that stalked them, apes possessed a powerful secret: cooperation. They moved in family groups, constantly watching over one another, communicating with a complex series of calls and gestures. When a threat appeared, the entire troop would erupt. They would scream, roar, and hurl branches and rocks at their attackers. Their combined fury and coordinated defense were often enough to make even the most fearsome predators think twice and retreat. But beyond this raw strength, something even more profound was developing. We see here the very beginnings of advanced intelligence, of complex communication, and of strategic cooperation, the very traits that would, millions of years later, change the fate of the entire world. Of course, not all their battles were against other species. The most intense conflicts were often against each other. Troops clashed violently for control of territory, for access to the best feeding grounds, and for social dominance. Imagine two colossal Gigantopithecus males, bellowing and beating the ground with their fists, shaking the very trees around them as they challenged one another for supremacy. These were brutal, physical contests. The victors would claim the richest resources and the right to pass on their genes, while the losers were forced to flee, facing the risk of starvation or predation alone. The rise of the apes was a saga written in fury and conflict as much as it was a story of survival. 20 million years ago, the apes rose to prominence, becoming a dominant force in their world. They weren't yet human. They hadn't mastered fire or learned to craft sophisticated tools. But in their incredible strength, their powerful social bonds, and their burgeoning intelligence, the seeds of our own future were firmly planted. From these Miocene ancestors, the evolutionary lines would branch out, eventually giving rise to the gorillas, orangutans, and chimpanzees we know today, and, ultimately, to us. The relentless battles they fought, the terrifying predators they faced, and the challenging world they endured all played a part in shaping the long, winding path to humanity itself. The age of dinosaurs was a distant memory, but the age of mankind was still waiting in the wings, a future yet to be written. And it all began here, in the deep forests of the Miocene, with the rise of the giant apes. A chapter of raw power, of desperate survival, and of incredible new beginnings. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey back in time. If you enjoyed exploring the world of these prehistoric giants, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next adventure into the deep past. We'll see you in the next video.